Bombshell new photograph has been released in the sex trafficking trial of Ghislaine Maxwell.
The picture shows the former socialite cozying up to the convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein at the Queen's log cabin on her Balmoral estate. The couple are said to have been there at the invitation of Prince Andrew, just highlighting how close their relationship with the royal was.
And in Britain this morning, police are hoping to solve a murder mystery with a royal twist. A woman's body was found Sunday on the grounds of one of Queen Elizabeth's estates. The discovery turned the Sandringham estate northeast of London into a crime scene.
And this coming out today, detectives now saying it is highly unlikely the woman died from natural causes. You heard John saying that a murder mystery could be afoot. They won't say exactly why they suspect that. They say there are no signs of any sort of accident or anything like that. But there's also no flesh on these remains, so not a whole lot of detail about how this person might have died.
A mass grave of hundreds of children here in Canada. This is horrifying in a way that almost beggars words. A BC First Nation in Kamloops has found the remains of 215 children, some of them as young as 3 years old. They attended a residential school there, the Kamloops Indian Residential School.
We're gathered today in memory of our brother William Coombs, who was murdered by the Crown of England and the Roman Catholic Church 10 years ago today, February 26, 2011. But in the case of William Coombs, his death sent a shockwave throughout the world because it opened the can of worms of genocide in Canada. It showed that Elizabeth Windsor had personally participated in the kidnapping and death of 10 Aboriginal children at the Kamloops Residential School in October 1964. And so we bear witness today to the victory won by William, and that his action was more powerful than all the money and all the monarchs in the world.
Protesters in Canada pulled down statues of British royals, including Queen Elizabeth, amid anger over systematic abuse of Indigenous children in residential schools.
The discovery of unmarked graves at a former Kamloops residential school lead to demands for a plan to find all the buried children.
The deaths of these children have brought it all home, and I think it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Their deaths undocumented but not unknown. The trauma generations of Indigenous families carry, and the calls to act as if they were your children.
The Metropolitan Police are taking no further action following a review into sex abuse allegations surrounding Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. Virginia Giuffre claims she was trafficked to the prince by the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein when she was 17. The Duke of York has consistently denied the allegations. A civil lawsuit in the US is still ongoing.
First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
Seen right now, there's a lot of backlash, and people are fighting against these pedophile networks that apparently go really high up. Is this something that the cabal that you were mentioning, this cult, is responsible for, or they're somehow implicated? Because I know in Hollywood it seems pretty vast.
Yeah, I've been researching this for 30 years, and as I've gone along, some very, very strange things have come into my research. But as you move on, you realize their significance and why it goes on.
It's a grainy home movie shot in 1933. Playing up for the camera, a young Queen Elizabeth is seen apparently raising a Nazi salute alongside her mother and younger sister dancing around. Her uncle, the future King Edward VIII, does the same. Whether an innocent gesture done in jest, the palace is said to be scrambling to figure out how the film got out, says royal correspondent Roya Nika.
There's been a huge level of concern as to how the material got out, the fact that they actually don't know how it's got out. You know, unknown things like that to do with the royal family and archives rattle royal aides, and they rattle members of the royal family too.
But this is what goes on, because like I say, the world that we think we live in is not the one we live in. That's just the smoke screen we're given. It's the movie screen we're given, so that we don't actually see the one we really live in.
The question is, what are we going to do about it? That's entirely up to you as an individual and me as an individual. As someone once said, what you think of me is none of my business, and it's not. This is just information, make of it what you will. But what we make of it and what we decide to do in the light of this knowledge will decide the kind of world that we and our children are going to live in the next few years and beyond. The Chinese have a word that means at the same time both danger, crisis and opportunity. And that's the situation we're in now. Yes, there's a crisis. Yes, there's a danger of this global fascist state becoming reality, but it's also an opportunity to wake up and make the change that will turn this planet from a prison into the paradise it once was and the paradise it will become again.